My loves, welcome to Maverick Baking. Welcome to another recipe. Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're ready for some more cake because that's what I'm delivering today. Today I'm sharing with you a new summery recipe. Though I know it can be tempting to leave the oven off for 3 months during the hottest part of the year, sometimes something just makes you want to have cake, and cake without an oven doesn't really exist. Today I am sharing with you something that is light, that is fluffy, that is perfect whether you want to leave it naked and beautiful as she is, whether you want to dress her up with buttercream with a kind of sugary glaze, or just an ever so gentle snow of icing sugar, whatever you want to do. She is delicious any way you take her. I'm talking about this lovely, fluffy coconut raspberry cake with a couple of pistachios on top because I had some and they're delicious. This cake is both sweet and tangy. It's both fluffy and satisfying. It's perfect if your weather's warm and comforting if your weather isn't warm. So simple to make that even if you're a beginner in the kitchen, you will manage this one no problem. It doesn't need a lot of time. You don't need to wait forever for it to cool down or faff around with too much decoration unless you want to. Works perfectly as a snack, a breakfast, if you're like me and can eat dessert at any time of day, or as a dessert. I hope you guys love this one every bit as much as we have. Let's get to it. We begin our lovely simple cake recipe with a big old bowl, and to this we're going to add in every single one of what we call our dry ingredients, starting with flour. Simple plain or 00 flour will do the job perfectly. To that we add a generous handful of desiccated coconut, and followed by some sugar, ideally caster sugar or fine sugar for easier absorption, before adding a generous pinch of salt, and then using a whisk or a fork just to mingle everything together nicely into one white mass that we will add all of our other ingredients to and make it easier to mix together very soon. Speaking of which, it's time to set aside that big bowl of dry white stuff and look out a jug or a measuring thing or another bowl that's easy enough to pour out of. To that you're going to add 3 eggs. You're then going to add our next liquid. Drumroll please, it's olive oil. Of course you can use melted butter if you like, but extra virgin olive oil adds a lovely kind of unique taste and colour to this cake, along with lovely kind of long-lasting moisture too. To that we're just going to add a little pot of yoghurt, just a classic kind of 125 gram pot of yoghurt. You can use coconut flavoured yoghurt or vanilla yogurt or plain natural yogurt. Ideally nothing coloured or flavoured too heavily, as it will kind of affect the final taste and look of the cake. Whisk together all of your liquids until they're a kind of funny coloured mango lassi looking thing, and then just make a tiny little kind of well, a little hole in the dry ingredients and pour in all of those wet ingredients in one big sploosh. You're then just going to want to gently stir those together, trying not to knock it to death, but also trying to get rid of any lumps. And before it's kind of just perfectly combined, for a cheeky lift, we're adding some vinegar, some bicarbonate of soda, and then giving it one last whirl around until you have a lovely smooth cake batter. And once it's looking something along the lines of this, you're going to want to grab a tin. You can use a square one, a rectangular one. Just make sure it's well greased, either with oil or with butter, and make sure it's got enough kind of greaseproof paper in there to help you lift it out afterwards, unless you're lucky enough to have a loose based one. And just tip all of that lovely cake batter in there, smooth it out nice and neatly, and then just scatter over a few lovely raspberries, just however you like, basically, in big old handful, small handful, however many you like, just don't drown the poor thing. And also a little scattering of some more desiccated coconut, both for flavour and texture. And I also added a scattering of pistachios, but that's totally up to you. I just had some in the cupboard and thought they looked very pretty. Then you're going to want to bake it, let it cool completely before slicing into little squares or bars. Feel free to dust it with a little bit of icing sugar or some kind of syrup before serving. But that's it. It's super simple, super soft, light, fluffy, and even though it means turning the oven on for about half an hour, it is absolutely worth this lovely summery end result. Fluffy, sweet, coconutty cake with tangy raspberries in there too. Hope you love it every bit as much as we have.